Hey, coming up, 200 shows in the books. Today, I'm going to share with you what I've learned this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where
when something negative comes up.
Building muscle improves blood flow.
Nobody is expecting, John.
If your lady's saying that, you're doing.
Being as a super boob.
Be entertained by fun over here.
How have I slept? Has my sleep been good? Is that...
There we go. Good morning, nation. It's a Monday on the Morning Loop, and we're starting with the 200th show. Hey, could you believe it? On March 11th, 2024, we did one. Nobody showed up today. A couple people show up. Yes, sirree, baby. Jason Shen is joining us today for Center Stage in the Deep Dive. We're going to learn about the Outlier. Jason Shen coming up. Jory Jansen's here as well. Bottom of the hour, we're going to talk about, well, foods to fight immunity, to help you live a better life over the holiday season. We got Christopher Martin, C. Marty Fit, John, myself, Keith Billis, and of course, this is an R-rated experience. If you got kids, put the headphones in because we don't want to offend them. Jimmy, let's pivot the conversation over here and bring up C. Marty Fit. See what's going on there, Mr. Marty. What's going on, brother? How are you today, man?
What's up, man? I'm doing good. How you doing, man?
I'm fantastic. Good to have you here for the start of the loop. We're getting after it here this morning. And hey, do you have any drones flying over Maryland? You see those drones flying over Jersey these days, man? It's pretty crazy, eh?
Yeah, they came down here too.
Oh, really? Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't see them, but they something was going on. They stopped traffic for about like 20 minutes on the highway, and then later my mom called me. It was like, Chris, there's drones by the house. So
really?
Yeah, I didn't see him though.
That's Chris, there's drones by the house.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting, man. I was reading something, C. Marty, that there's speculation that these drone activities are being driven by the administration because they're trying to get us. They're trying to learn a few things. They're trying to learn how the public reacts to all the. Hey, Chris, there's drones in the air. So first, trying to learn how the. Good morning, Johnny.
What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing today?
Hey, we're just we're getting into a conversation about the craziness happening over Jersey and the drones that seem to be flying over America. And I was saying to Chris, seeing Marty, that good morning, Jack Dugan. Good to see you here in the comments here, Jack. That there's thoughts, Marty, that the administration is flying drones to predict how the public's going to respond, but also predict around how administration could respond. So it's more like it's like a science test. It's like, okay, how are folks going to respond if all of a sudden we see drones flying around the air? And all of a sudden,
I haven't been paying much attention to news. Like when you say drones, how many drones are we talking about here?
So Johnny, last week in Jersey there was I think dozens, Marty.
I don't know how many it was.
There is so Johnny over the night. So over the night skies in Jersey last week and over the weekend, there are like dozens of these big drones all of a sudden appearing in the sky off the shores of Jersey, like just flying around, hovering and then going away and then appearing again. So
define a big drone?
Like a car-sized drone.
Yeah,
no
car-sized drone.
Yeah,
you're not talking about these little motherfuckers that fit in a shoebox. These are big boys.
No, these big boys.
Yeah, these are big boys. Yeah,
it's like we living in the Jetsons.
So there's just speculation on, is it administration running tests? Is this some human just doing some crazy shit to go fuck with Americans or what? But I find it kind of curious because here's the thing. Because the other question is, Marty and Johnny, is what are the early detection systems for North America? So all of a sudden, if China or Russia or old Uncle Keith ships some drones down to Maryland to go watch Christopher Martin's house or Johnny's house, is anybody paying attention or like, hey, Uncle Keith's flying some drones over there?
It'll be interesting to see.
It's got to.
I agree.
I mean,
I
it's got to
agree. I
fit
agree.
somehow into the aviation stuff. You know, the aviation. They've got.
You muted yourself, Johnny.
Yeah, you muted yourself there, Johnny. Paul Sulce, you're right. ET drown home. It's exactly. Paul, good morning, man. Good to see you. Mornings Alive with Keith and friends. We're here in the only morning show to help yourself get going here. Johnny, you're stuck there, brother.
No, you good. You good, Johnny. You good.
There you go. Yeah, Johnny's good.
I think I got muted on.
No, we're good. Good morning, Paul. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, get onto the channel here, brother. We're talking about
Well, yeah, man. So, but yeah, there was a lot of traffic here. So the drones are definitely in Maryland. I mean, it's crazy. Well, you know, Jersey's real close. It's only like 3 hours away.
Yeah, so it's what I figured. It's just up. It was forgive my ignorance, Marty, but up the turnpike or up the highway or up the
you could go 95 to the turnpike. Yeah, man.
So what has been the public reaction to all this stuff?
How was the weekend,
saying?
Chris?
Well, to answer Johnny, the public reaction, a lot of people were just like, you know, a little shocked.
Yeah.
But I don't think people were freaking out. You know, we're getting all types of new inventions. But my weekend was cool, man. Just went to karaoke.
Did you seriously?
Listen, let me get this out of here before Johnny calls me a loser.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't.
I don't use words like that, brother. I don't call anybody a loser.
I didn't go like willingly, you know. It was a little birthday thing, so that's why I was there. But I'm never going to just have free time, be like karaoke. Yeah, let's do that.
I didn't go willingly. That's funny, man. So I know producer Jimmy right now is laughing in the corner there because we know our Filipino friends love the karaoke, Marty. So I'm sure Jimmy's just Jimmy's going. So Marty? What did you not sing?
I sang everything, man.
Were you like the awesome rapper, or what were you singing up there, brother?
Man, I was singing, rapping, dancing.
Yeah. Is there video evidence of Marty crushing it up?
I did not let anybody take videos of that. That is not happening. That is not. That's one thing. No videos.
Videos.
That thing will be all over the internet.
Yeah. Johnny, Marty's walking around the NDAs. Here, you got to sign this NDA. You got to sign this NDA. You got to sign this NDA. He's giving out fucking envelopes, pulling out their phones. You're not doing anything.
No, sir. Nope. Not this guy.
Marty's like, I do 2 hours. I do an hour a day. Top 2 hours. I do 10 hours of video every single morning. To hell if you guys are getting me video fucking singing.
Yeah, no, that's not happening. That was going to be all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
My sound
awesome.
okay? Are you guys able to hear me?
me?
I don't think I must have a big delay or something.
I could hear Johnny. Keith, can you not hear Johnny?
No, I'm having some troubles with Johnny, actually.
Okay. I can hear you, Johnny.
Johnny seems to be
because I chime in and Marty,
here's what I'm gonna do. You keep the chat going here, Marty. I'm gonna do a little refresh on my browser. We'll be back in 1 second, okay? Keep chat going.
All right.
Johnny.
I got you.
I'm gonna try this here.
So the karaoke thing, brother, you said it was a birthday party or something?
Yeah, it's a little birthday get together, man. So you know, I'm not a karaoke guy, man.
I'm the same way, bro. We used to have to in Japan. The Japanese loved that. So a lot of times the sponsor took us out, we ended up at a goddamn karaoke bar. And you had to participate because it was like their treat to you. You know what I mean? It would have been really culturally, it'd been like them taking you to a nice dinner and you not eating. You know what I mean? They don't understand that. So I'm with you. I mean, I had a few songs that I sung, the ones that I knew that I could not butcher too badly, and then I would be off the hook.
Hey, I would pay to see that, Johnny.
Well, I was staying in my chair. I wasn't on the table dancing, so it was probably much less tame than what you were describing.
Yeah, man. That was actually my first time doing the karaoke, so I never had experienced that. So it was pretty cool. I mean, I'd do it again.
When it's such a huge part of the Japanese culture, I will say there, it's like they have, I mean, there's so many bars dedicated just to that. They make some pretty cool, like, I guess you'd say lounges or bars or whatever the fuck you want to call them, so you can imagine that the Japanese do it and they love karaoke. So put that together.
So boys,
would have never known that.
So, boys, I am here. We have Jason Shen joining us here, coming up in a few moments here, Mornings in Live with Keith and Friends. I do want to, so here we are here today to talk about what I've learned from 200 live morning shows. We're going to get into that in the second hour here. We got Jason Shen joining us here very shortly. But I do want to address something here that we do come to the show, Marty, with some heavy hearts this morning. Johnny sent me a text yesterday, Johnny, and I said to you yesterday that I'm going to follow your lead here today and spend some time grieving with you as a family. John, where do you want to start, man? You sent me a text yesterday. You had a very unfortunate situation happen this weekend.
Yeah. Well, it seems like, I guess I've never had this amount of death around me at a short period of time. Goodness gracious.
Okay.
So unfortunately, my brother's middle son passed away. And, when I say middle, the oldest one is 27, so, it's like it's way too young to be passing in the 20s. And so this is, we just had the last one was just not even a month ago, maybe a month ago, where Terry's best friend, youngest daughter passed. And man, it's just like, this one is like, I don't know, I guess you'd say it's even closer, of course, because it's inside the family circle, but it's like, it almost doesn't seem real, and I can't, emotionally, it's hard even for me to understand what I'm feeling. Sometimes I feel it, sometimes I don't. So it's like it's kind of a minute by minute scenario,
So John, so behalf of Marty and myself, I knew you were going to be here today because you said I'll be here and I might not be my full self, but talk through the grieving experience today. Somebody who's tuning in, John, Jack Dugan says, I'm sorry and so forth. And then we got Jason Shen hanging here in a minute with us. But as you go through this grieving process today, are you going to find yourself spending time in your own head with Terry, with your family, or where do you think you're going to spend time today?
That's a great question. There's no handbook on this shit. So of course, I've got to be there, of course, for my brother.
Yes.
And my nephews, but I think at the same time, I got to keep soldiering forward, myself, because for me to do what I got to do to be the best I can for them is a huge piece of the equation. And so as tough as it is, I mean, it's weird. I wake up and it's almost like it's you almost don't know that it happened. You wake up and like, oh shit. And then you remember, so it's kind of one of those things. So that's kind of the phase that I'm in right now. But I think when it comes down to it, so I'm going to talk with my lifestyle tip is just talking about how, and I'm just going to straight freewheel that son of a bitch today, but I freewheel it every time. But either way, I guess when it comes down to it is just, life is so fragile,
Yes.
And you just never know when something is going to happen like this. And so it's,
well, and you know what, Johnny, too, if I can add to your point here, I sorry to interrupt you, but we also never know what someone else is going through. And that's why I really, really, really want to encourage us all as men and as humans to just don't jump to the judgment of the book on that cover, right, Marty? Because we never know what's inside the book. And we never know what's going on in page 2, page 4, page 24. Right. And because page 25 might be what John woke up to today. And he's like, wait a minute, but the first 24 pages looked fine.
Yeah, I was going to add that, just last week, somebody I know, one of my clients, they were like really down, just like not themselves. And I was like, everything okay? And they're like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, they were like, why are you so concerned? And I'm like, look, you never know, what people are going through. And I've had friends, that take themselves away too. So, I'm real serious about this. So I'm always checking on people and being overly concerned and overly understanding,
Yes. So listen to this, Johnny, out of I know if I may take a page from you, we never want to let any good tragedy go to waste.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's the challenge is, waking up and finding the silver lining, but then, trying to keep that silver lining forefront so that, is you're either you're going to grieve through this one way or the next. You're going to grieve through it with thinking about, the good things, you're going to grieve through it thinking about the bad things. And so it's tough in these situations to find the silver lining, but it makes it so, at the same time, it also makes it so easy to be grateful for my own kids, or, you know,
Yes.
your own kids, or who, you know, because then it's just like, you just look at it and go, you just realize everything's so fragile, and everything is, you know, there's no guarantees. And so when you look at this situation, it's easy just to go, man, thank goodness that my children are okay. And
That's right.
So I guess that's the battle, you know, is that, you know, the bigger the tragedy, the harder it is to soldier through, but that's what you got to do.
And what we do every single day is we show up for those of you that are either battling tragedy, battling loss, or looking for some ways to get your day started, along with some accountability. And you're right, Jack, everything is temporary, the good and the bad. That's what's sad about it. But also that's what's so delicate about life. All right, we got Jason Shen hanging out over there. We're going to spend the next hour and a half hanging out with Johnny and Marty, and some time with Jason here, and, you know, honoring those that are around us. And, you know, as John said, you know, when a tragedy happens, we can't let it pass without learning or doing something about it. Right now, we're going to keep this show moving forward. We're going to get into the accountability check-in before we bring in Jason Shen, the Outlier. I didn't say the Outsider. No, that's back from the 80s. Who's that? Who are the actors in that show? Producer Jimmy, go find me the actors for the Outsiders. I'm struggling to. There is a bunch of the whole crew of those actors that are. Well, I'm now dating myself. Listen, most leaders, they think that they're inspiring others, but the fact is that they're not. No, inspiration isn't about speeches or sound bites. It's just like the snooze button. You're like, oh, I don't know, man. No, it's not about giving orders or showing up once in a while. No. Leadership is one thing. It's your actions. That's it. Your team, they don't care what you say. No, they care what you value. They care what you do. Do you take responsibility, or do you shift the blame to somebody else? That's it, Joe Fontana. Yes, Rough Macho. Yes, Patrick Swayze, Tom Cruise. Thank you, Fontana. You're tuning in, brother. I appreciate that. Remember that show? Accountability check, and those actions, those are contagious. That's good leadership. There you go. Good leadership. Just throw it out there, and the whole team runs forward to say, we got you, brother. We got you, brother. You hold yourself in those same standards, or expect them to do more. Because your actions, Fontana, your actions, Jimmy, your actions, Walter, those are contagious. Your actions, Jason Shen, they are contagious. If you're calm under pressure, your team steadies himself like a ship. If you're disengaged, they're going to be all over the place too. The best leaders, they don't talk about standards, baby. No way. They set them. They live them. So ask yourself, if your team mirrored your actions, would you be proud, or would you run in the other direction? There you go. That's your accountability check-in this morning. Oh, I love it. Fontana, I love you, man. That is awesome. Yeah, the Outsiders. Speaking of the Outsiders, let's bring in the Outlier. Jimmy, let's bring in Jason Shen this morning. What's going on, Mr. Shen?
Keith, how you doing? It's good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. Hey, you actually almost have a better flow than I have. Dude, that's an awesome flow, man.
I've been
love
working on this for a while, man. You know, started COVID growth, you know.
Is that where it began, the COVID flow? Yeah.
That's how it happened. You know, like you never know what's gonna happen, and you say, hey, we're gonna be on lockdown for a little bit. I can cover up this, you know, the ugly parts of this haircut till it gets nice and long, and that's just what I did.
That is awesome, man. So we got Jason Shen, Marty, and Johnny, the Outlier.
What's up, Jason?
Who's helping founders build conviction in what's next. He's a 3-time venture-backed startup founder. He's acquired by Facebook, eh? Oh, look at you go, Mr. Shen. Author of The Path to Pivot and Weirdly Brilliant. He's got a few letters in the back of his profile that kind of goes with an ADHD. And he's a former NCAA gymnast. So not only does Mr. Shen got the good flow, he's also been known to battle it up on the mats, or up on the bar, or up on the bar, on the bar, or what? Forgive my ignorance about
the podium. The podium, yeah.
Yeah. So before we get into Mr. Shen, we got the big morning show question we ask everybody. Everybody gets asked this question. What's your morning routine, Jason Shen?
My morning routine, I gotta say, wake up, check my phone, make sure there's nothing crazy going on, get up, make coffee, get a little food in me. Probably it's oatmeal with some protein powder mixed in, so you get some
There
of
you
that
go.
low carbs, but also get some of that protein. And if it's a good day, head downstairs, get a workout in, maybe on the Peloton, maybe just some weights, maybe some dips, push-ups, pull-ups, and then get started with the day.
Nice. And at what part of the routine do you take care of the flow? Is that first thing, middle thing, after? Like, is it showered? Is it braided? Like, when's the flow? Because, dude, I got a pretty crazy flow too. You look at my profile picture. Like, when's that part of the routine?
Well, I'd say the flow care happens the night before. So me and my wife have this thing where she washes my hair, conditions my hair, takes care of it, because I didn't grow up doing this, so I'm kind of like, I got to learn now. How does this actually work? My big meaty hands, she's got tiny little fingers, can actually get in there and And then the trade is, every night before we go to bed, I give her a massage, like stretch out her legs, her back. So we do a little trade, each of us do what we're good at, and then we take care of the other person, kind of like monkeys, like grooming each other, that whole thing.
Marty, Johnny, I'm loving what Shen's bringing.
I love it, man.
Jason, this is a show for men. We talk relationships, we talk accountability, we talk about moving shit forward, and so we also talk about life expectancy work. It's this, so we've learned through.
Here we go, Jason. Just get ready, man. We've
learned through science that if we take care of our wives, our partners, they live longer. So we need to make sure that we're doing our life expectancy work along the way, Jason, as long as we're taking care of our hair as well.
Absolutely that. And if I could just get her a little bit more on the strength training routine, then we'd be golden, because she's an artist and she does a lot of physical work. So when she's physically on there, she's moving, she's working, and then when she's in between projects, she's just like, I'm gonna lay out, I'm gonna slow down. And I'm like, hey, where's all that frenetic energy? You're running up and down the ladder, you're doing all these things, and all of a sudden you just go to zero. Like I couldn't do that personally, I could not do that. My ADHD would not let me do that. But for her, she's got to be excited about it, and that's the trick. Is like finding something that she can actually sink her teeth into. And so we're still working on that so that she can get to that nice 95, 98. But she's always saying, look, I want you to die before me. I want to die before you. Because I wanna just peace out and you still be around, and then you go if you want. I just can't do it. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm gonna live a long time, baby. So you gotta hang with me.
That's it. Hey, Jason, you guys have kids yet?
No kids, although baby girl on the way.
Congrats, brother.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, January. I mean, you're catching me at we're putting it all together. We're trying to put everything together so that we can actually have this baby and have her have a place for her.
Yeah. So I feel like, gentlemen, Marty and Johnny, we need to get Shen on the calendar here over the next 12 months to see what his life is going to be like in 12 months from now. So December 16th, 2025. Jay, what's the last year of your life been like? He's got a bunch of gray hair. He's half fucking bald. He's all
the flow's gone. I'm going to tell you that, Yeah.
So Jason, let's get into you, man. We celebrated you on a Creator Spotlight a number of weeks back.
That's right.
You sold your business to Facebook. Did you shake hands with Zuckerberg, Massari? Did you?
We had to MMA, spar for it. That's how it works. Like if I won, we got a certain valuation. If he won, we got no, man. It was you give people the highlights because that's the bar and lets people know. But it was not one of those crazy transactions. I am not retired, bought my house in cash, living on the beach, but it was a good thing for me. It was a good thing for the business. It set my team up. It was during COVID, during the early days of COVID, when you didn't know what was going down, and we were in a tight spot, and we, looked around, found some suitors, had some conversations, and then the company wanted to pick us up and put us on a particular part of the team. And so, I stayed around for 3 years. My co-founder's still at the company. He had 2 kids.
Wow.
So he's like, yeah, this is good. I can settle into this, and then one of our employees went and started a whole nother business, which is doing great. So it was a good deal for all of us.
Jason, what was the learning in that? So, because it sounds like it sounds like it wasn't part of the plan, but then COVID happened, and it might have become part of the plan. What was the learning in that experience, Jay?
Well, I mean, it's a couple things, right? Like one, relationships matter. The conversation that we got to with the, guys at Facebook happened because one of my close founder friends had another friend and he kind of put us in touch, and that guy had been acquired by Facebook. He had left Facebook, but then one of the people he had worked with, he was like, yeah, I think that guy might be interested. So let me put the two of you in contact. So it was like, a multi-step chain to get there. And if I didn't, tell people that this was going on and that this is what we were considering, it never would have happened. Right. And so it took a lot of people wanting to go up to bat for us, vouching for us so that we can even get in the conversation. And then the second part of it was the guys who actually acquired us, the division that actually acquired us, has a hard time recruiting internally. I got to say, it's not like the primo spot inside of Facebook or Meta. It wasn't the virtual reality stuff. It wasn't the Instagram stuff. It wasn't even like regular Facebook. It was like some deep down, plumbing, internal tool stuff that everybody was like, hey, I'm not super excited about this. And so they were always having a hard time recruiting people. And they said, you know what, here's a team that works well together. We're going to pick them up as a unit, hopefully they stick around and kind of, catch a couple birds with one stone. And so that's what made it worth their while to actually bring us into the company. So you sort of have to find your point of leverage and what you're bringing to the table and what they need. What you got is what they need.
It's fascinating learning in that, actually, wasn't there? Really? Yeah. Johnny, Marty, what are you hearing when you hear Jason talking?
First, I would say, just the idea, like, I love how he was totally honest about, hey, this was the part of Facebook that nobody hears about, that you don't see, because most people think Facebook, they think all the shit they do see, but it just shows how many different levels and how many different divisions it takes to have that monster run.
Well, and what it also tells me, go ahead, Marty.
No, I was just going to say, I love how Jason said relationships matter. You got to be conscious of, how you treat people, how you respect people, how you talk to people, because, let's say Jason woke up on the wrong side of the bed one day and was an asshole to one of those guys, maybe this opportunity didn't happen. So that says a lot about Jason and his character and the people he works with too. So I just wanted to add that in.
It also strikes me too, Jason, that you don't have to do something that's sexy. You just have to do something that solves a problem. And you built a business that clearly solved the problem that not many others wanted to solve. And you're like, okay, I guess we'll solve it. And then during the journey, somebody noticed it and then placed value on that. There's a big learning in the unsexy businesses, isn't there, Jason Shen?
Yeah. It's funny the way you say that, because I think what we were trying to do was sexy. And then the people who saw our potential saw us for the unsexy part of it, right? We were trying to build AI tools to support gamers and esports teams in their play, in their competition. That's kind of sexy on paper. This is all pre-ChatGPT, a lot of this AI leaps. And so everything was kind of slow. It was kind of clunky. So, we weren't living up to the reality of what we were trying to create. But then the team that acquired us said, hey, we're doing a lot of stuff trying to get knowledge distributed internally at the company, which is kind of what you're trying to do with this AI tool. And this AI tool kind of emerged from a pivot, surprise, surprise, that we had in a previous business that was more B2B, that was more like, hey, let's just build stuff that companies need. And so we kind of pivoted from something more boring to something more sexy. And then the guys are like, hey, we actually like the boring part of what you're doing. You're going to come to Facebook. Most people at Facebook want to build stuff for people, but clearly you are comfortable building stuff for businesses. We got some like basically business units, the company's so big that basically there are all these divisions that are like buying software internally that different teams make. And so they wanted to put us on that.
Yeah. Let's talk about the power of the pivot. Let's do that in 90 seconds. But up until then, let's get Chris Martin, C Marty Fit, to get the C Marty Fit tip. And then Jay, let's come back and get into the author of The Path to Pivot, the power of the pivot. John Anderson's pivoted a number of times in his life. Marty's pivoted. I've pivoted. You've written a book about pivoting. Let's talk about it in 90 seconds. Marty, you're up, brother. Johnny, go for a break. Let's get after Jimmy.
Let's get it, man. Get off the screen, Keith. All right, we got the fitness tip for today, man, and this one is a little different. So, one thing I like to talk about with fitness is like how a lot of the principles of fitness are in the Bible. So I brought a Bible verse to the show today. So we got Proverbs 27:6. Wounds from a friend can be trusted, but an enemy multiple kisses. All right. So you wonder, why did I choose that one? So you have to learn in your fitness journey and in life, you have to learn how to take messages and not worry about how they're delivered, right? We just talking about stuff being quote unquote sexy. So the way the message is delivered is not always going to be sexy, right? So sometimes when you are trying to get better on your fitness journey, you got to get used to tough love. Real growth doesn't come from sugar-coated lies. It comes from honest truth. So in fitness, this means hearing hard feedback, like when your coach says your form is trash, you're not following your meal plan, you need to step it up, you need to do better, right? So as a trainer, I'm here to help you grow. I'm not here to coddle you. And it's going to be times where we can laugh and joke and be friends, but that's not my job, right? So sometimes you don't have a trainer. You might have to be there for yourself. You might have to give yourself tough love, like, dang, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. I don't look the way I want to look, right? So if your squat looks like you're about to collapse, I'm going to tell you that, right? The truth is going to sting sometimes, but it's going to drive progress. Constructive criticism improves performance, right? So remember, you got to be honest if you want to change. You got to be honest if you want to grow. And it's not always going to sound nice, but it's not about sounding nice. It's about the honesty, right? And it's about the effort. And it's about being able to be disciplined and make the change. That's the fitness tip for today.
Hey, we'll see Marty Fit, Christopher Martin daily. That was a good one,
Yes, sir.
Marty. I like that one, man. I like that one a lot,
Thanks,
actually.
man. I appreciate it, man.
There you
Appreciate
go.
it.
There you go. Jason Shen's fascinated by LinkedIn's edition of puzzle games. We're going to talk about that here in a second. He is the author from Pivots to Path to Pivot. Jason Shen, also former NCAA gymnast. Jason, what was your discipline in gymnastics?
Yeah, I was an all-arounder. I trained all 6 events into college. And then my junior year, I had a really tough vault landing that blew out my knee. I mean, it was like kind of all the ligaments, everything got torn up, had, all the reconstructions. They put me back together. But after that, I was only doing the pommel force and the parallel bar. So I got, that tricep power.
Yeah.
But, wasn't doing the vault, wasn't doing the floor, no more of those hard landings after all those surgeries.
No shit. Hey,
Yeah.
G, was that an impetus for the rest of your life? Like pivots when you landed and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, my knee's blown out, my ACLs are gone, MCL's gone. I'm like, fucking, I've got to rebuild. It's time to quote unquote pivot. Was that the impetus for that, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at your life, I think these 2 books that I've had about pivoting, about being an outlier, really do kind of like animate a lot of the life that I've had. I think the gymnastics injury, the fact that I hurt myself so badly, one, it tells you, John, you were talking about this earlier, you never know what you have until it's taken away. I was always the strong, fit guy, never had any serious injuries, and then all of a sudden you can't do shit. You're on crutches, you're not that strong, fit guy. But that created space. That created an opportunity for me to explore other things. This is in college, and I kind of met a whole bunch of people that we started a nonprofit together, eventually started a company with some of those guys. So, one of those guys was the guy who actually connected me later to Facebook. So, all of that happened because of the injury, right? Whenever, I believe this is true, whenever something terrible happens, another door opens. You might not like that door the way you liked whatever you were doing before, but it is a fact that is now in the world that wasn't there before. And that, in that case, was not going to practice, being able to do some other things and exploring that. So that's for sure the injury. And then the other thing is, it kind of challenged me, a lifelong desire to continue to push myself, to continue to challenge myself, because I could have just like retired and been like, yeah, I was the shit before. And now I'm kind of like, let it go, because what else is there to prove? But now I'm always kind of like looking for something else to prove. I still wear this knee brace. I'm doing CrossFit. I'm doing, running. I'm doing these, world record challenges from time to time. But it's partly because there's a part of me that's like, hey, I didn't get to do everything I wanted to do in my gymnastics career, and now I got to look for other ways to do that.
Yeah. I would consider myself an outlier. I know Johnny considers himself an outlier. Marty absolutely is the most certainly an outlier. Jason Shen, you identify with being an outlier, and you talk about being an outlier coach.
Yeah.
What does outlier mean to you? And when you talk to your customers, your clients, the people that approach you, what's the one common attribute that they have that makes them an outlier, Jason?
Well, you could say that they are weirdly brilliant. No, but being an outlier is all about having some, really incredible capabilities, a unique perspective, coming at things in a different way, and just being like really strong in certain dimensions. But those strengths, that unique perspective, often comes with limitations, with deficits, with, how are you so good at this and so bad at this? And that can kind of leave you on the outside. That can leave you sort of searching for that sense of belonging, right? And that is where I come in, because that combination can be, powerful. It can create a lot of, contribution to the world. When you think about the people who really add value, it's people who bring something that we don't already have. If we already had it, we didn't need it. It's already there. But if you don't have it and somebody brings it in, they can reject it and say, what is this? Get this out of here. Or they can say, wow, there's something about this that's interesting. Like the guy at Facebook even was like, hey, we don't have a lot of founders here. We certainly don't have a lot of founders on this department in the organization. I bet these guys could kind of fit in and make it work. I don't think I would have gotten into Facebook the regular way. I applied to Google at the same time and I got instant rejected. So it was really like this guy saw that we were outliers and brought us in. And so, as a coach, what I try to do is help them understand where is your outlierness going to add value. If I could tell a quick story, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's almost Christmas. Great story for the holidays. Yeah. What is the story we tell ourselves? Hey, we got this reindeer. He's got a red nose. Everyone makes fun of him. There's a meme in the book that says deviation from the norm will be rejected until it is exploited. Now, that is a negative way of saying it, but Rudolph didn't get to play in any reindeer games until one day with the fog. Hey, that red nose could actually do something for us. That red nose is actually valuable. Why don't we put you in the front so that you can light the way for Santa and make everything happen? All of a sudden, all is good. You're welcome. You're part of the crew. You're part of the family. Because guess what? You actually bring something to the table. And we see that. And we value that. Now, the negative way of saying, okay, he's being exploited. I don't think he's being exploited. I think he's just being recognized.
He's being found.
At the table. Yes, he's being found. So I help outliers become Rudolph, and I help them sort of help the world see what they can do.
I never thought about the outlier that way. Good morning, good time. Good to have you here, brother. I'd love to see you here this morning in the lab. I never thought about the outlier the way that you've presented it, but in many ways, the outlier is actually the superhero. Because
he's gonna develop skills, that somebody else doesn't have because of his position. I mean, that's 100% me.
That's what I mean, Johnny. I look at you, I look at myself, Marty, but that's exactly it. It's the one. Rudolph is like, okay, I'm the only one with the red nose. I have this one skill set nobody else has. I'm just waiting for somebody to identify when they get the fog.
You just got to have thick enough skin to get through all the time when you don't get to play any reindeer games.
Yeah, it's so true. That's actually so true.
That's real. Yeah, that's real. I mean, and then part of what being a coach is being like, hey, at least there's one person out there right now who is going to see you for what you can do, what you bring to the table, and kind of like be that, whether it's Marty, supporting his clients through a tough training session, or, me helping somebody who's starting a company or building a company or trying to manage a pivot, get through a pivot when you're really questioning yourself, because a lot of these guys or gals, have had great success. They've been able to put it together, but now, there's some cracks in their situation, in their armor. Maybe their team's questioning them. Maybe the product looked good at first and now it's having some problems. You want somebody in your corner. You want somebody who's going to, believe in you, even when you don't always 100% believe in yourself, right? And give you that spot and kind of get you through it. So, John, you were talking, I'm sorry for your loss. That I had a recent client who I'm just starting with, young guy, started a company. And over the summer, he had a co-founder that he was working with, two young guys. They were really in the business. Guy goes on a vacation, gets swept out to sea, gone.
Crazy.
It's just like that. right? And it's so sad. And this guy wants to keep going with the business, but there's a lot of grief there. There's a lot of sadness there, and that's not a conversation you want to bring up every day. Hey,
Yeah.
have you always? Why'd you start the company with one person? Well, I had to. Whoa, what happened? Nobody wants to kind of intro yourself with that, right? And so that's a tough situation for him to be in, because he's got to tell his story. He's got to tell his company story, but he needs to find a way to do it that feels empowering for him, and then helping him sort of deal with the grief. That's one of the things I do. That's not like my main thing. That's not what I open with either, but it's real that stuff happens, and that's part of the work of coaching.
Jason, when did you and how did you identify you were an outlier?
I mean, I think in retrospect, it was happening pretty early on. Like, because I had ADHD, I was kind of all over the place as a kid. My kindergarten teacher wrote this letter to my parents, to the principal, being like, Jason runs around a lot. He touches things inappropriately. He's sort of, not really paying attention, although he does seem to be able to, ask questions and think quickly once he's kind of put on the spot. But I'm having a real hard time in the classroom with this guy. And my dad actually, both my parents kind of work in sort of education or growth. My mom's a gymnastics coach. My dad worked in education his life. He saw the letter. He's like, oh, no. We're not doing this. We're not letting my kid kind of be put into like a special situation, because he's a smart kid and he just needs, to be properly supported. And so my dad, Asian dad, didn't take all this and just start screaming at me, being like, what the hell are you doing? Why aren't you behaving in class? He said, look, Jason lives in a single bedroom up, in the attic of this house that when we first came to the United States, we were living in, attic of a house for a group care home for people with intellectual disabilities. So he's cooped up there. He's cooped up there all summer. He didn't have any kids to play with. He's just excited to see other kids, to see all this stuff in the classroom. He's just really excited. And let's just work together on this. And they let me stay in the classroom. And by the end of the year, she wrote another thing about how Jason, loves computers. He loves making things. He wants to learn about everything around him. He's really curious, and we love having him. So even in that year, it went from, hey, we don't know about this guy. Maybe he needs some special, attention or a different classroom, to we love working with him. And that's sort of been, I think, my journey throughout life, is like entering a new situation, kind of being the outlier, figuring out how to add value, trying to fit in, and then deciding maybe I don't actually want to fit in. Maybe I can fit in here, but it's gonna be too much for me, and it's not where I want to go long term. So then I pivot, and then I find a new place, and that's sort of been the journey, I think, all the way up until this coaching gig that started a year and a half ago, full time.
That's awesome. Marty, Johnny, before we wrap up with Jason.
I'm just having fun listening to you talk, brother. You got a lot of first, you're entertaining to listen to, and then you got some really good points, brother. I mean, I love the talk about the outlier, because I think if people understood that when they have that, it's actually a strength, and they just got to find it, they got to understand it, and they got to put it to use.
Yes. Yeah. It's very, very true. Marty?
Yeah. What was one thing from sports? I know you mentioned the injury, but is there anything else you learned from sports, that translated to the real world to help you excel and reach success?
I mean, a big part of it, I think, is that the way you win is what you do when nobody's looking, right? When there's no crowds, there's no, stadium, there's no, other team even. It's you putting in the work to get better, to improve, to give yourself that tough love, or have the teammates or whoever is around you giving you that tough love, so that when you do show up on game day, in front of the big lights, you got it. Not because you gotta like pretend like you're confident and bring that, you put in the work, and whatever happens at that point, hey, you can be proud of that, because that was how it was going to go down. You put in your work, they put in their work, and you show up and see who's better. And so when the other half of that is that when I lose, and when, I've had my share of beats, okay, didn't get that one. Take the L. move on, and try again.
Nothing wrong with taking the L. Sometimes we got to take the L to get towards grabbing the W. We're hanging out with Jason Shen, the Outlier. Mornings and Live with Keith and Friends, John Anderson, C. Marty Fick, coming up, George Jansen. Jason, where can Business Athlete Nation, where can LinkedIn Nation find you, connect with you, and do some business with the Outlier coach, Jason Shen?
Look, I'm on a couple different places. I got my own site, jasonshen, SHEN.com. I'm on, Threads, Jason Shen. I'm on LinkedIn / Jason Shen. So I kind of, put my name, my stamp on there. I feel bad for the other Jason Shens out there. There's a doctor named Jason Shen. Sometimes I get calls being like, hey, we need we got an opening here. Could you fit it? And I'm like, wrong number. I just leave it alone, yeah, I'm Jason Shen on pretty much all the platforms except for YouTube. YouTube, I am at Coach Jason, and so make videos there. But I'm on all those places, and then you can find my books on Amazon. Weirdly Brilliant and The Path to Pivot, both on Amazon. And you can go get the Kindle versions are pretty cheap, or the print versions I recommend. They're nicer. But I'm on all those places. Love to connect with y'all.
Awesome. Jason, thanks for hanging out with us this morning.
It was great.
You, Jason.
Yeah, Keith, Marty, John, you got a real great thing going here. 200 streams. That's incredible. That's a milestone. So I'm looking forward to hearing all those lessons learned.
I appreciate that, Jason. Thanks for hanging out with us. And Good Times got some comments for you, Jason. Sugar spike. Then they put the kids on meds. And then he says, you said it best, Jay. Races are won in the shop, not at the track. It's all the work we do behind the scenes before we reveal our true self. Jason Shen here this morning, Mornings in the Lab. We celebrated him on the Creative Spotlight a number of weeks ago, and he came in to join us here this morning and hang out with us for the last half an hour. Jay, have a great day, brother. We'll see you in LinkedIn feeds, okay?
Sounds good. Take care,
Thank
guys.
you, Jason.
All right, Jay's out of here. Johnny Anderson's up for a lifestyle tip. I know it's going to be a touching one, so perk your ears up. We got some words coming from Mr. Anderson. Johnny.
Well, words are not as easy for me today as normal. So I'm just going to have to deal with me potentially stepping on my dick here and not saying exactly what's in my head doesn't seem to come out my mouth quite as easily today. But inspired by another loss, I guess this lifestyle tip is really about making sure that you really look at what you got. Look at your life. Be grateful for what you got, because life is fragile. The relationships that you have, you never know when something good or bad is going to happen. So when it comes down to it, especially with the holidays coming, don't be afraid to tell the people that you love them. Don't be afraid to give someone a hug. Does it really matter if there's some bit of awkwardness to actually spit out a few words or to give someone a squeeze? No. What matters is that you're living in the present, in your life, and you're absorbing and taking in all of how beautiful life can be, because it is fragile, and just take it in. I really don't know how to wrap this up other than saying that, you don't know what you got until it's gone sometimes. And as I always say, don't let a good tragedy go to waste. Find the silver lining and live your life to the fullest. Love who you love. And that's it. That's all I got today, man.
We got you, brother. We got lots of love, lots of support for John and his family this morning. And that's what we got here today with Mornings in Live with Keith and Friends. Good morning, Jory. Good to have you here, girl.
Good morning. Thanks.
Yeah. It's a little tough morning for John and his family this morning. John's been surrounded by tragedy here in the last number of weeks. I know, and you've been part of that, Jory. So we're here to support our friend this morning and our family member this morning. It's in these tough, especially with the holiday season. And you know what? I'll tell you, Nation, Dr. John Page, Johnny, if you're tuning in right now, is going to join us next Monday. We're going to get into a topic that I don't know if it's often talked enough about, which is not everybody is happy at this time of the year. And we're asking everybody to put smiles on their faces and be happy. And sometimes some of us in Nation, I'm one of them. I battle with this time of the year. I do. I got up this morning and I fucking struggled. and I struggled, and I'm going to struggle all day today with it, and I'm going to struggle for the next 10 days with it. So we're going to talk about it next Monday about those of us that are going through, and I don't know why, but this season comes up and it's difficult for me. And
it happens to a lot of people, brother.
It does. And I know it happens to many of us. So we're going to talk about Dr. John Page next Monday. But today we got our friend, the GOAT, Jory Jansen here. Jory, I know you had some messages in my inbox this weekend and I was like, oh shit, I haven't had a chance to get back to her. It was just a weekend of just the holiday season, right? Just catching up with us. So I thought I'd keep it light here today. Have a light conversation around foods that boost immunity, especially around this time of the year, because most of us are eating foods that might not be the best foods. And it's like, okay, what are some other exactly, Marty? Big back building foods, as Marty would say.
There we go.
Yeah. So maybe there's some foods that we could add to our regimen over the next couple of weeks that might give us choices that help boost the immunity. And one of those ones, Jory, go ahead, Jory.
I was just going to say, I actually love this topic for many reasons, not just for boosting the immune system's sake, but because a lot of us are going through some challenging times right now. Because of the season changes, there is that seasonal mood affective disorder, right? So it's really important to keep our vitamin D levels up, getting our sleep. And then, of course, one of the best immune boosting things that we can do has nothing to do with nutrition. Well, I mean, they work together, but they're separate, is exercise. We often forget about what is one of the biggest things the research shows. You want to increase those cells in the body that are going to fight disease, infection. It's exercise, right?
Yeah, simple as that.
That's a big one. And then, of course, nutrition plays a role. I was just working with some clients in Prince Edward Island yesterday morning, and I told them that nutrition isn't everything, but it plays a role with everything.
Right.
Timing can matter. And so if you're going through a hard time, we've talked about fasting. We've talked about different ways of eating. Yeah. And when you're in this space, you're not helping your immune system out by trying something that's going to add stress to the body, especially in the beginning. So I think one of the things that we need to do, and one of the, I actually had I'm all over the place, you guys.
No, this is good. This is good.
But one of the things that I talked about with the team that is working with out east, and also I had the conversation with my daughter afterwards, was that because one of the questions that came up, and it's so cool because these were teens, and I have the same thing as adults. It's, does it matter if maybe you don't get enough calories in certain parts of your day, and just, as long as you're getting it by the end of the day? And one of the things I said, it depends on what you want the outcome to be. And the example was, and I know it sounds a little immature, but I think people get it. I said, if you were given some money as a group or as a family, and you were going to go to the mall, and at 2:00 was when you could go in and buy your new runners, but your debit card, your Visa card, whatever, you wasn't activated or it wasn't topped up. You didn't put in what you needed. So at 2:00, you could go buy those runners. But when you got home at 8:30 p.m., your bank account was filled and you could go buy those runners. It didn't do you any good at 2:00, did it?
That's
right?
At it.
So
yes.
I think it really matters in terms of what do you need, what's needing to be spent at certain times. And then you can work your nutrition and exercise and your sleep all around what's needed of you right now. Yeah. And it's right now, it's like, I just need to save some mental energy. Then let's look at some rest and recovery. Let's look at making sure you're well hydrated, and maybe supplementation in times where if your appetite's just not there because of the space you're in, then supplementation is going to play a big role. But overall, what beats supplements? It's exercise, it's good nutrition, and it's sleep. And then we can look at specific foods. But I just wanted to acknowledge that the space that we're in, let's just make sure we're doing what we can in the moment to allow us to be supportive to our bodies so we can perform when we're needing to be.
Especially over the next couple of weeks too, right? Because the next couple of weeks are active and hectic for everybody, emotionally, physically, mentally, right? And those of us that are, okay, I'm going to make a big change to my life right now. Probably not, right?
Yeah. It's probably not the best time for most people, right? And really, what is our immune system? It's our body's defense mechanism to fight against illness, infections. And so looking at ways, nutrition is one way to help protect or build up the immune system. And when you're going through stress, which I'm so sorry, John, that you're going through this. Nutrition does play one of those roles. And something as simple as getting in some nuts and seeds high in zinc and vitamin E, those help keep the immune system up. Something like broccoli also. Nutrients like vitamin E and folate helps with the immune system. So there's a lot of things like whole foods. We always go back to, right? It's the whole foods thing that's going to help us.
Well, I think one of the obvious ones, Joy, over the Christmas season here, that foods that help boost immunity is those good old Christmas oranges, eh? Citrus fruits.
Yeah, citrus fruits, things like even kiwi or bell peppers have more vitamin C than orange.
Yeah.
So they're just having a variety. It's just like the body. There isn't one part of our body that is only the immune system. There's so many parts, cells, organs work together. And so the same thing with the foods, by having the protein foods, the zinc foods, the vitamin E foods, foods that, like for our produce, deep blues, purples, reds, orange, yellows, those have a ton of antioxidants in them. And so I would make sure that you go out of your way for, if you're going to balance out the dollars and food, then, looking at ways to get those vibrant colors in, and that's going to help boost your immune system.
Joy, what about kefir? Is kefir, what's your POV on kefir? Allegedly, it's going to help with the immune system as well. Science is showing that. Where do you stand on kefir?
Yeah, so when it comes to like a food source that's being fermented, such as the dairy product kefir, however people want to pronounce it, I don't even know. So it's one food option that will help grow the healthy bacteria in the gut, which is where most of our immune system is located.
Yes.
So it's definitely an option. If you don't like it, there are other ways to get fermented foods in. And then you can also buy specific probiotics. But if you're only going for the probiotic and you don't have food to feed the probiotic, the prebiotics, such as your grains, your onions, your garlic, those sort of things, help feed it. So that way you can build that healthy bacteria. So it's a combination. So yes, absolutely. And you can but you have to watch. Some of them are just loaded with sugar. So we like the taste of them. But that can help build you towards getting ones that have less sugar in them.
Yeah, no kidding. Marty, Johnny, comments? Joy?
No, it's all very good stuff as always from Joy.
Sardines, Joy, is also on the list of foods that help fight immunity over the holiday season. And I'm just thinking aloud here, Joy, that sardines are probably at the top of Christopher Martin's list of junk foods or foods that he loves to just crush. Marty, you're not a sardine guy? You don't? No words. Do you crush sardines, Joy?
I don't. I just can't.
Oh, I know. How about you, Johnny? I know Johnny's one that does something nobody else does. Johnny, I'm thinking Johnny crushed them by the case.
No, I mean, I definitely like them. There's no question about it. But the fact that it's just this little bitty thing, that's I usually tend to grab a hold of things that are bigger and meatier. But I do love them like on a Caesar salad. Oh, that's good.
Oh yeah,
that's real good.
Yeah,
they are good for you. I'm what does
George, I can't do them.
I know. What does it look like and what does it feel like? And they're a hard no.
I'm with you. So here's another hard no for me, and I know Johnny's a hard yes on this one. But the other food that helped boost your immunity is liver, and I can't go there. Jory, are you a liver person?
You know what? It's not my favorite food, but I grew up with liver. It was the whole liver and onions thing.
Yes, you and me both.
Yeah, and it's the chewing aspect of it.
Yes.
The texture is nasty.
Right? Yeah, so it's great in terms of exercising that jawline for sure. But
it's an exercise in disguising meat with ketchup or mustard. That's it.
This is good. This is a meat right here that literally I prefer to eat raw. I literally just cut it into little strips and it'll slide right down your throat. Because that to me raw is better than cooked. Because once it's cooked, when it's raw, you're not chewing. It just slithers down your throat like a worm. You know what I mean?
That's not helping. That's not helping.
We just got a like for that. That comment drove somebody saying they agreed with Johnny eating liver raw. So that's like Like, honest to God, Johnny. Like, yeah.
Well, but here's the thing. You're eating liver for a purpose.
Yeah.
It's rarely do people say, "Oh God, I can't wait to fucking eat this liver, boy. That texture is gonna try not to vomit's gonna be so fun at dinner." You know. So if you're eating it for a purpose, you know, it's just literally just cut it into strips. So it's about like this, you know, not too thick. You just put it in your mouth. It just goes right down. But the difference is you're eating it for a purpose. So get it over with quick and don't have to go through all of the agony of chewing it up and having the texture feel like you're going to uke. You know, I can deal with the texture of that thing sliding down my throat far easier than chewing it up once it's cooked.
I think I'm the opposite, but
I think that's a good way for us to end the segment. Actually, we got.
Well, but let's be honest. How many things do we eat? Well, I shouldn't say how. Most people. I eat plenty of things for purpose, and if you're going to do it for purpose, well, it's just a matter of getting the job done. What's the fastest way from point A to point B?
Oh, good time is that beats pocket meat. Yeah, you're right. Good time. Just eat the meat raw. Just
I definitely would not be eating a piece of liver out of a Ziploc bag in my pocket. This thing is coming fresh out of the fridge, and it's you know, it's been cut in a certain way that I know it's going to slide down just right. Pull it out of there and pow.
That's you know, immunity, like food safety is huge, right? So hygiene and good food practices, absolutely. Yeah, you're not eating that out of your pocket.
No,
I'm looking
definitely not. Can you imagine the smell coming out of that Ziploc bag when you opened it up with warm liver?
I'm looking forward to the dinner conversation I get to have with Jory one day here in the future. That's just all I can do. No, we're not having liver, Jory. I can promise you that, or sardines or nothing like that. Hey, Jory Jones is here. Jory joins us every Monday, Wednesday, Friday to talk food, nutrition, protein break here in the lab. Jory, going to get after it today? What do you got on the agenda today?
Yeah, I'm going to get after it. I'm going to get to my usual, you know what, I don't enjoy doing them, but I do them because people want them.
What?
I'm getting some meal plans done. I'm getting them out of the way.
You know, we should talk. Why don't you like doing them? And I'm actually curious because I'm thinking that with, yes, a good time, eggs with shells on the side. Why don't you enjoy doing them, Jory?
Because everyone is looking, not everyone,
for the magic.
Many people are looking for the next best thing, and they think that having this meal plan developed for them is going to be it. But at the end of the day, it's still you making the decision. You still have to plan and prepare, just like getting a nutrigenomics test done. You still have to figure out what's available to you. What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to gain? Those sort of things. And humans are just, we're complex.
This is really good though, because I actually feel like I need to have a round table with the three of you around the truth of coaches who are like, oh my God, this person wants a food plan when they still don't get the fact that there's more than just the food plan, right? So, but we all want to start. We all want to start. And that's why we come to John or Marty or Jory to say, help me with the start. Until the reality checks in going, oh, you mean there's more than just the meal plan, Jory? Yes, there is.
So I don't give meal plans often. I give health and performance guides. Smart. And that's different because then we can keep modifying things as we move along and trust each other through the relationship that we're building. But
yeah, that's good, Jory. I'm the same way. If somebody just wants a plan, you just want a plan. I'm going to teach you how to do it. I'm going to help you learn how to do it within your specific life and your challenges. But you just want a plan to go follow. We both know that's not going to work. So I'm not going to waste your time. You're not going to waste mine.
Go find somebody else. All right, Joey, go have some fun with your plans. I'm going to send you a text later today about Mr. Chapman, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, Jory. Take care.
Bye, take care.
Marty,
Jory.
Marty, you going to go find the drones on the way out to Maryland? On the way out to
I got to get out of here. Hopefully I don't hit traffic.
All right, brother. I appreciate you, man. You have a good one, okay?
Have a good look, brother.
All right. Marty's out of here. Keith, John Anderson. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Jason Shen just wrapped up. Marty just wrapped up. Jory Jansen wrapped up. We talked sardines. We talked shelled eggs. Good time. We talked liver. We talked some tragedy happened in Johnny's world. We're going to keep the show rolling here. We're going to wrap up here on the 45-minute mark today. We got Alana Tart joining me at the bottom of the hour. We get to the community corner. She has somebody we're going to celebrate for the Creator Spotlight. But what I thought we would do right now is Yeah, exactly. Raw liver. I know. I'm just seeing a comment here, Johnny. Yes, raw liver, John Anderson. Oh,
No,
good time.
it's not for everyone.
No, you don't say, John. Is it salted or peppered or?
A little salt, a little Celtic salt's always helpful.
Of course. There you go. Good time. I saw a drone over my house last night at 5:30. Not a joke. Good time. What part of the country are you in? I'm quite fascinated by this because drones seem to be popping up around the United States, and I'm wondering if it's just popping everywhere. Or good time because they're obviously coming up over in the Jersey side of things, and Marty said they're up around the Maryland side of things. But I'm wondering where you are. Good time as well. I'm quite fascinated by this whole situation. Okay, so we're gonna keep the show rock and roll, Johnny. I thought that I would take some time right now to Connecticut, East Coast, good time. They're suspecting that the administration is testing to see what kind of response the public has and what kind of response the administration can have to unidentified flying objects. Oh, are we talking UFOs, Johnny? Do you believe in UFOs?
Oh man, that's a hell of a topic. See, this is like I said in my lifestyle tip. What goes on in my head doesn't always make it out of my mouth in times like this. So I would say that probably. I mean, do I believe that there's some other life? Yeah, because I think our universe is just this little. We're just so small. This huge, infinite galaxy. And I might even said that improperly, so I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, you're right. Good time. The government's looking for a dirty bomb that went missing from the military base. Yes, exactly. That's quite fascinating. Actually, put it that way, right? Maybe they have these transmitters on. That's quite fascinating.
What do you say?
Oh, the government's looking for a dirty bomb that went missing from the military base. Oh, so they're flying around drones to see if they can find it. That's quite interesting. Good time. Ooh, that's interesting stuff, man. Your sources. Johnny, it's interesting to hear about. You said something about the universe. I will not have expected you to know about this, but last week or the week before, Google announced a breakthrough in quantum computing that has potentially discovered the multiverse, that we live actually in a multiverse.
Meaning that we're just this little tiny thing in this massive deal.
There's just more universes than just ours. Like there's other universes around, right?
And so that's what I was getting at. I think that for us to think that we're the only living creatures in this massive thing, is kind of ridiculous.
It's hard to argue. Right, it's hard. There's more than likely like a John and Keith doppelganger situation happening somewhere, with my arms just waving everywhere. Somewhere there's just this doppelgang situation happening, right? That's we're doing the same thing somewhere else. And last week, Google, created the computer chip. It's called Willow, which has discovered what they're calling, quantum computing. Quite fascinating stuff.
I mean, look at the stuff that we discover on our own planet.
Yeah,
but we're living here, so we can actually have a discovery process. We're talking about a place that we don't know how to even look in and discover yet, and to think that there's nothing out there is kind of ridiculous.
That's right. Johnny, a good time with the commenter earlier that he brought it up here, which is I lost my father December 20th, 2011, and then my son was born December 20th, 2012, a year later.
Wow.
About tragedies and moments that come of that, right?
Yeah, there is. I mean, I always say, don't let a good tragedy go to waste. And I think for me, the hardest part is to watch the suffering of the people that I really love.
Right.
And it's like it's trying to shuck that stuff. That is for me that's the most difficult.
That's got to be tough. Yeah. All right, so John, I want to take a number of minutes here now. Excuse me, as I'm burping away underneath my breath here, nation. That's just we all burp. Yeah, even when we're doing a show in front of the microphone. I wanted to get into the things I've learned over the last 200 live morning shows and share them with you and talk about them with you and just share some of my experiences doing this. And because it was March 11th, 2024, where actually before that, John, where I had this hypothesis that if I did a morning show, would people show up? And I thought, hey, it's the only macro cultural, it's the only time that we still share in North America time together. And what I mean is that we all in North America, we all wake up around 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. for the most part together. And after 10 o'clock comes Johnny, we all go on with our days, and time largely becomes irrelevant. You know, your 11 o'clock is different than mine. 1 o'clock is so. Back when you and I grew up, we would all go through our days and race back towards the evenings in front of, you know, Friends on Thursday nights or Seinfeld on Thursday nights. And then we'd wake up on Friday and we all talk about it. Well, that's all gone now, right? We all do our own things. We're all in our own little tribes doing our own things, but yet we still all share some commonality in the morning. So I wanted to share what I've learned over the last 200 mornings doing this. And the first thing is, Johnny, and I think you'll like this one, and I know you subscribe to this, but the power of public accountability. Man, when I get behind this camera and this microphone and I say something out loud to either it's one person or 10 people or 100 people or 1,000 people, what that does to me in my brain, I'm like, okay, well, I said it. I guess I got to follow through on it.
Well, you know, and you're so correct for the right people. You know, because if keep in mind, you also understand how to keep a promise to yourself.
Right.
That's first. You know, for someone that's constantly saying, oh, you know, I'm going to go on a diet and I'm going to lose 50 pounds and I'm going to start on Monday. And they're going out and they're saying this shit, you know, on you know, their social media. Well, how many times have they not done that? You know, and if they were actually holding the word to themselves first, then that public announcement might give that a little bit more stink, so to speak.
Yes.
But a public announcement is not going to fill the gap for the fact that someone still hasn't figured out how to honor what they say they're going to do.
Well, it's interesting, John, because when I started this, people were like, how are you going to monetize accountability? I said, I will. Watch me. And then I just kept showing up. And yes, this show has turned into our free accountability program for folks. And I'm going to start monetizing this as we go into 2025. But what I needed to do first was to not only prove to myself that I can do this, but I never knew who's listening, right? So I never know who's paying attention or tuning in. So my fear is if I say something and then I don't follow through on it, I'm the biggest fucking hypocrite and it's unraveled everything that I've done up until this day. You know what I mean? Like
well, you know, brother, 100%. But you know, that's you're talking about the show, which I totally agree. But that's fucking life. You just summed up life right there. I mean, think about your kids, your friends. If you say something and you don't do it, and they realize that's a pattern in your life, you have completely downgraded, you know, your relationship to them, to yourself. It's like the foundation of what a person has is their word. Once that word is gone, it's a much different relationship with that creature, call it.
But John, so let's talk about that, because has the power of the word gone? It would seem to me that maybe it is of less value than it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. Do you feel the same way?
I think it's just there's still plenty of, like, for example, I literally will surround myself only with people who do that, who honor the word themselves. As soon as I see someone who says they're going to do shit, they don't do it. That's my signal to just start creating space. Not that I'm judging them, not that I think that they're a bad person. It's just, I don't need to be around that, because that stuff to me is like it's like a cancer. And so when you surround yourself with people who honor what they say they're going to do and they do it, it makes it that much easier for you to do it. When you surround yourself with a bunch of people who are constantly talking about what they're going to do and they don't do shit, it becomes that much easier to do that dumb shit yourself. Well,
and what I suspect happens is you become you complete the next sentence with that person, right? Which is you saying to me, "Oh, Keith, I'm going to start next Monday." Yeah, Johnny, I'm going to start next Monday too. Keith, you know, I'm going to get this done next Friday. You know, John, it's great. I'm going to get this done next Friday too. And next thing you know, we're completing next in each other's sentences, right? It's that it starts. We start to feed each other, right?
It becomes acceptable, and they don't even know it. You know, like unfortunately, I think my opinion, is that the average American diet, which is normal, is like flat out, like over the top unhealthy. But it's normal, so everybody thinks it's okay. It's like once you're fitting into this tribe of what everybody else is doing, nobody sees the flaws in what's actually happening. I shouldn't say nobody sees, but either they see it and they ignore it or they don't see it. But I mean, it's so simple now.
Yes. Yeah.
Like with diet, I mean, if you eat the average American diet, you will get the average American diseases, period. End of story.
Yeah.
So you got to look at, I don't have time to cook, so I'm just going to take the kids through the drive-through. That's become normal and accepted. I can't remember, Jesus Christ, I don't ever remember having, pizza or burgers from a drive-through laid on the table for me to eat. If we ate something like that, it was because, it was like a plan to go splurge per se,
Right.
but either way, all I'm getting at is that, you're so correct that, when you own your word to yourself, when you say it to the world, it just makes it that much more important, because you know that you're not only honoring your word to yourself, you've given your word to everybody else.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We got strategic veteran coming in here, Adam Peters. Everyone needs someone to hold them accountable. It's too easy to charge to be someone's mentor, accountability partner, because we all need to invest in ourselves. You are absolutely in good time. You know what, brother? I might take you up on this, man. You guys owe me a new suit. Because the old one doesn't fit. And I love hearing that. So, good time. Maybe we got to talk offline. I might have to take you up on that and create some content with you on how you went from old suit to new suit, because this morning show, that inspires me, man. That absolutely inspires me. And I appreciate all the comments. You're constantly supporting us with good time. Johnny, repetition beats clarity. At first, when I started the show, I was stumbling through ideas and so forth. And admittedly, I'm still working on the format even up to this day, but I can tell you right now, man, the scalability, and I can communicate things in seconds now. Like it's, but that all comes from repetition. Just like spending time in the gym or all the things you've done in your career. I can't tell you, like 200 shows, how many minutes, how many words have spoken. The power of repetition in and itself, it's been nothing but amazing to do this show for 200 straight mornings. Power of repetition, Johnny Anderson.
Well, with when you do something over and over, it creates more clarity in what it is that you're doing.
Yes.
So I think when it comes down to it, the idea of, doing something over and over and over, the general public tends to think, oh, it's boring. I don't want to do it so many times, but that's where greatness is developed.
Oh, it's just actually as simple as that. I know we've talked about it so often, almost ad nauseum, but all you have to do is look at the greats in sport and recognize that they were great because of all the work they put in that we didn't see. It's really as simple as that. Tiger Woods, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, any sport figure that is beyond normal has put more time off camera into what they've done. Like it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
You hear someone bitch about what you need to be doing being boring, you can pretty much guarantee that person is never going to advance where they want to advance.
Yes. Yeah. Whoa, well said. Oh, you give them goosebumps. Yeah. You're right. It's like, no, you need to embrace boring. You need to embrace
just the fact that you're recognizing it's boring. You're living in the wrong space.
Yes. Yeah. No kidding. That's so there you go. Repetition. Repetition builds clarity. Boring, builds greatness in many ways as well. I was having a chat with Lauren here a couple weeks ago last week. I said, I love my lame life with my dogs. It's boring, but I love it. I love it because it's simple, it's predictable, and it generates results for me. And that's what it's all about, right? Generating results at the end of the day, right? The other thing I've learned in my 200 shows doing this live is the audience is the mirror. Every reaction I get from Good Time or Adam or Shinku or anybody along the way here has been nothing but it's been a teaching. Right? I've learned so much from not only the audience, Johnny, but from yourself and Marty. I feel like I get the greatest opportunity every single day. We get to learn from humans every single day with intention. That's something else I've absolutely learned. I feel very grateful for all the wonderful humans that have come to the lab and taught me something, right? Like that in itself, it's like, wow. Like the things I learned from Jason Shen today or the guys last week, like, man, since you've been on the show, think about all the things that you've learned, John, since you've been on the show.
You know, one of the things that I think that's, and that you've actually said as well, is that, excuse me, you know, when we're here every day and we're talking about what we do and how we live, it's to a certain extent, it actually becomes easier to do it.
Yes. Oh, fucking rights it does. Why for you does it?
I mean, it's just like anything else, you know, like when I start to teach something, I get so much better at what I'm teaching, because now you're looking at it from a vantage point, not just yourself. You're looking at how does it apply to other people, which then helps you understand how it applies to yourself even more.
Yes. So we're talking the things I've learned doing 200 live shows, and we're going to keep this conversation going all weekend as we get into, you know, even to up till our March 11th anniversary. I've also learned the power of doing things in multiple streams. So that's one thing I discovered here, Nation, on the technical side of things. When we started this show, we were doing everything on a horizontal stream and then spending a lot of time doing post-production, cutting all the content up. I keep telling folks left and right, man, the best, if you're going to do a live stream, if you're going to do any video, do it in both. You know, and if once you figure it out, it's magic, because you will expedite your post-production process so significantly that you'll wonder why you haven't done it before. Right. And it's something that I've learned to do it every single day. We figured all that we've figured out all the little, you know, divots and so forth along the way. But doing a multi-stream experience has been a game changer for us in terms of creating content and expediting the flow of content. The other thing I've learned, I'll say as well on the technical side of things, is the power of AI and how much I'm using AI to put this show together. I would tell everybody that this show could not have been created 2 or 3 years ago, not just with the little people behind the scenes pulling this together, right? The amount of AI that I have weaving into this whole experience, I think would blow people away operationally. There's AI doing this over there, AI doing this over there, AI doing this over there, all brings together so that humans, Johnny, can bring this to life. Because I'll tell you something I've been paying attention to. So not only on the Instagram side of things, but on the LinkedIn side of things, when you look at what they're talking about, it's going to be what John, I like to, so when I want to take my glass of this, when I read, I'm a big fan of reading in between the lines of something, of what somebody's saying, right? And I've been paying attention to what the big platforms are promoting in 2025. And what they're talking about is the conversations happening within the comments. How often, you know, your network shares content with other people within their network. Moving away from the importance of measuring likes, views, because a like can be generated by a bot. A view can be generated by a bot. A comment can be generated by a bot. But it gets very difficult to generate a back and forth conversation by bots within the content. So when you look at what I see us growing into as we continue building this platform is creating content that drives conversation within the comments, right? Where we have a piece of content and then a conversation goes back and forth around it, which shows that it's real, it's engaging, and Johnny, the most important thing, it's humans. Because that's ultimately what we want to have, right? Is humans engaging with humans. And that I think you're going to see a lot. So if we're talking about in 12 months from now, you know, if we were going through the experience, so over the last 12 months, man, our engagement on our comments has gone through the roof because we've got a great system in place of humans engaging with comments over humans instead of a bunch of AI generated content, because there's a lot of that happening right now. And good time, you're right. My son used that AI for everything. It's the future. Bang on, man. It absolutely is. 100%. Mm-hmm. 100% it is. So I'm going to continue sharing the 200 things. I'm going to continue sharing the things that I've learned over the previous 200 straight live morning shows. I'm learning something every single day here on the show. And we're going to get into how we're going to start monetizing this baby here over the next couple of weeks as well. So Carmen, you're right. AI is fascinating. It's amazing how it helps with tasks and creativity. So, all right, Johnny, I know you got to rock and roll here in a couple minutes. So I want to take some time to wrap up with you here today. Johnny, what do you got on the agenda today? I know it's a heavy day for you. Talk through Nation. How are you gonna work through the grieving process today, brother?
I'm just gonna forge through. You know, yeah. I'm definitely gonna get. I haven't been sleeping very good the last couple of nights, which is probably been what's my biggest hindrance is that my mind is not clear. So I'm gonna get forged through. I normally take a nap every day in the late morning. but I'm going to make sure that this one is, I've got the time that if I actually can sleep a little bit more than normal, I give myself the opportunity to do it, because I think, pushing forward and doing what I got to do, to make sure that I'm good so I can be there for those that need me. Right now, I think that the leak in my bucket is my sleep. So I'm going to try to see if I can catch up a little bit of that in a nap this afternoon. Other than that, this is one of those days where it's just one step at a time, one foot in front of the next. This is one of those days where not going to be my best day. It's just another day I show up.
Yeah. How are the girls, Johnny?
Shocked everybody, it's, especially when it's, they're, it's just, you just never see it coming. It's like this stuff happens. It's like, whoa, it's definitely helps you. The first silver lining that I found is it stripped away probably 5 or 6 little issues that I perceived to be problems, that I realized these fucking things do not matter. Fucking do not worry. Don't stop wasting your thoughts on this dumb shit, and it's just, sometimes it can be kind of cleansing in a weird way.
Was there an example of something, Johnny?
Just little stupid things like, perfect example, I'm a really scheduled person.
Yeah, I know you are.
And sometimes if I'm not moving on my schedule, the way that I feel that I should be, I can find myself, having anxiety or getting frustrated with myself, just things like that, like me being hard on myself, over performing a certain way, when in actuality, I guess it's just looking at, does that really matter? Does it matter that my transition was 10 minutes late?
It's finding a way to give grace to yourself first, isn't it? And if there's something I can encourage you as your friend and as your brother is, it's to find a way to be intentional with that on a daily basis, especially as we age, right? Because you beat yourself up if you don't.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So today's just one of those days where, it's going to be a bitch. You just got to push through.
Yeah, it's actually true. All right, Mr. Anderson, well, listen, you take care of yourself. You take care of your brain. You take care of yourself first. I know if you take care of yourself first, you can take care of everybody else after that. And I tell you, man, I knew you were going to be here today, and it was a tough day for you, but I also know I know your approach, your attitude with things. So you're teaching others, right, that, this is life, and showing up is part of the journey. And it might not be the best day, Johnny, but it's still the day, right?
That's it. Yeah. And I feel like with today, knowing that, recognizing that sleep has been the big, leak in my bucket, I feel like, okay, I can make some progress in this. So between a good nap today and a good night's sleep tonight, I feel like I should be, back into more of the space of being myself again, which is really what I'm looking to get to. That way I'm operating all cylinders for those that need me.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Johnny, well, listen, my friend, you take care of yourself. You take care of your family. And I'm not going to tell you to enjoy yourself today. I'm going to tell you to take care of yourself today, get some rest, and please lean on me if you need to talk, if you want to just shoot shit, if you want to just shoot a comment out. But I'm here. I love you. You got lots of love from me. You got lots of love from the family here. Carmen, Good Time, Adam. You got a bunch of people that are just that are rooting for you, my friend, rooting for you emotionally and are there for you. Okay, so you be well, and we'll talk along the way. Okay,
you got it. Have a great loop, brother.
All right. Okay, Johnny. All right. Johnny's going to get out of here, guys. We're going to keep the show rolling here. Yeah. There's my little bottom of the hour transition song. Jimmy, this is the official transition song to the community corner. Woo. 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 Yeah. I don't know where that came from. Just the old, shake the hips. Good time. I'm with you, man. I wish we can give Johnny a hug too. Sometimes just what we need to do is give a hug, right? Okay, so I thought we had somebody showing up right now. There she is. I see her in the green room. I do. But I don't see her in the green room on the vertical feed. So, Alana, we're going to get you working on the vertical feed as well, so we can see you on both sides of the room. So I see you there on the horizontal one over there, Alana Tart. There you go. I see you there as well. Yes, you're getting it figured out. Oh, there she is. Alana Tart joining me here in the lab this morning. What's going on, Alana?
Hello, happy Christmas. Look, I got my tree behind me.
Oh, my goodness. Walter, we're going to bring that gam up here in a second, so just hang tight. No, hang tight. There you go. Yeah. So, Alana, where are you joining us from today?
Well, I'm in Switzerland, Keith, but I am, of course, Canadian.
I know you are Manitoban, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I spent 10 years in Saskatchewan, but I love Manitoba.
Oh, okay. There you go. Oh my God. Did you say Saskatchewan?
Saskatoon.
Okay, well, I'll have to get to that in a second. So, guys, I think the show is going to cancel. I did not know Alana was from Saskatchewan, and Alana doesn't know that my ancestors, my extended family, is all unfortunately from Saskatchewan. And I'm a proud Manitoban. I'm a proud Blue Bomber fan, and we kind of have a rivalry with our friends in Saskatchewan. And I'm really struggling and I'm really troubled when I have to address and deal with my family and friends from Saskatchewan. So I guess I got to take a deep breath.
I'm afraid I'm a Rough Riders fan all the way, Keith.
Oh my goodness!
When I was little, they used to have these. I don't know if they still do, but we used to go to Regina, and you could get these tickets, and you could sit on one of the end zones, right? I'm probably using hockey language, but you could sit like behind, not along the sides, and they were like $15 a ticket. It was insane. And I just have the best memories from that because you literally sit on a blanket in the grass.
Oh man, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. All right, so listen, let's I was looking forward to having you here today for a couple of reasons. I know how's the governor up there at Good Time? Yes, I know. I got the governor up here in Canada. Do we still have you there, Alana? Yeah, we got you there. Good. Okay, so I think we got a little bit of I got you frozen here on my vertical feed for some reason. But Alana, so here's what I want to do. So Walter, I want to bring the old Gamma up with why is Alana frozen on my vertical feed here, guys?
I shouldn't be frozen. I can see me on the vertical feed.
There you are. Good. I see you there now. Perfect. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
okay, so listen.
I muted the vertical
Walter,
feed.
let's bring up the Gamma to introduce Alana Tart to Business Athlete Nation here. Let's do that here. Awesome. All right. So Alana Tart is your executive coaching partner, over 15 years of experience. She is a fan of recognizing the signs of professional burnout, all about feeling trapped, emotional turmoil, performance decline, constant worry is where Alana Tart comes from. Her approach, beyond Band-Aid solutions. No way, man. It's not about unconscious reactivity. It's about conscious response. Let's keep rolling, Walter. Let's keep rolling with her, Walter. We want to go tailored solutions from Alana Tart. Let's keep going, Walter. Alana, we're new to this whole experience here. The journey to professional transformation with Alana Tart, facing the challenge, elevating performance, cultivating resilience. And I see her, but I can't hear her now. Alana's unique coaching philosophy is about entrance to the darkness, holistic approach, nuanced development, and authentic transformation. Alana is your guide to professional coaching here with Alana Tart here. Let's keep it going, Walter. Take the first step towards forward transformation. Keep it going there, Walter. There we go. So, Alana, we are focusing on making our intro presentations to our guests. We're getting better at it, but I want to take some time to welcome you here to the lab this morning, Alana Tart. Joining us from, where in Switzerland are you joining us from, Alana?
So I live in what's called the Lavaux. It's the wine region in the French-speaking part. It's very Canadian.
Oh. I think we're having some troubles here on the.
Okay, I don't know. You can't hear me?
Hold on 1 second here. So Alana, just stay right there, Alana. Stay right there. Okay. Don't go anywhere here. We're going to do one quick thing here. Let's try that out. There you go. Good. Okay. We got you back there. Good. Awesome.
Okay. You can hear me now?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. So did you say, are you in Zurich?
No. Can you still hear me? No. Okay. I am not in Zurich, Keith. I am in the French-speaking part of Switzerland. It's very Canadian. That sound is weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I see your comment there, Jimmy. I don't know why I'm having an issue here.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alana. I keep having some challenges with my browser with you, but we're good here. Go. So we'll keep rocking and rolling here. So, Alana, are you in Zurich? Did you say you're in Zurich?
No,
Where?
I am near Lausanne.
Oh, Lausanne. Okay. I spent a
So
little bit. Yeah, keep going.
French speaking area
Yeah.
in the vineyards.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice. So we connected on LinkedIn. We've been connecting and commenting and interacting in the feeds. And I want to have some fun with you because I made a post a few weeks back and the comment was, the hook was, some people think I'm a douchebag, or I was something like along those lines. And you're like, what? What are you talking about? And it was a play on words around this idea that we like to judge books by the cover.
By their covers.
Right. And I know through my journey in life, I've often been judged by the book by its cover. And, you know, on LinkedIn, on any good social platform, you want a good hook. So like, hey, it's a good hook. But I wanted to ask you, not about me, but just generally, just this idea of judging books by their covers and how we as humans can do a better job of not doing that, Alana Tart.
Yep. Okay. That's such an easy question. You can hear me?
Loud and clear. Thank you for being patient with me.
Not at all. Thank you. Okay. So, number one, it's impossible to not judge. Let's just start with that point, but then I'll take you to where you can go.
Yeah.
And we are programmed to categorize good, bad, safe, not safe,
Yes. Yeah,
because
right.
we have to. It's our safety mechanism. It's how we all survived the Sahara, right? So we know that. The key to non-judgmental is not to stop judging. It's to observe and notice your judgments.
Observe and notice your judgments.
You have to get meta about it. Now I'm going to even take you another level because I know you're like super, super keen on mindset work. So am I. But here, Keith, mindset is everything itself is a mindset. In order for you to really do mindset work, you have to understand what are the mental models that you have and the mindsets you have them. You have to notice and observe them and reflect. Next point. So many of the judgments that you are making, because you're making them so split, they're unconscious until you notice them, are not actually going through your thought process a lot of times. They are sensory. You're feeling them. So you have a communication. So that's why, you know, you posted up all my credentials on there. And yes, I'm a mindfulness teacher. One of the reasons I'm a mindfulness teacher as well as coaching is because you have to be able to start being aware of and reading your emotions, your feelings, your sensations, because they're communicating so much more to you and dictating so much more of your behavior than you know.
Alana, can we be mindful? I want to ask the question properly here. Can we make mindfulness an immediate reaction instead of an immediate response? So what I'm trying to ask you is when we
habitual reactivity.
Okay, so we can, right?
Yeah,
so
you rewire what is your habitual reactivity.
Right.
Now,
Instead of judging you quickly, I'm creating awareness, right? So
yes.
In the old world, judge. In the new world, create awareness, respond instead of react.
Bingo. That's it. That's how you free yourself of this and free yourself of the labels. Because the sad part about being so judgmental, you're judging yourself, which means you're not accepting yourself, which means inside you're not really actually allowing yourself to be a whole person.
So then play with me on this one. So then when I make the statement that people think I'm a douchebag, what you're hearing me say is I'm looking in the mirror and I am not giving myself grace because I'm considering myself a douchebag.
If someone's saying that, then they have defined what is a douchebag and not a douchebag in their mind. They may not see themselves as a douchebag, but they're judging themselves based on that. So they may stop themselves from doing certain things, which could be quite helpful to them because they've got this concept that equals douchebag.
This is fascinating, Alana. So does this also take us down the path of imposter syndrome when we really don't know who we are either, or we wonder who we are in the context of the environment that we're in?
This like ties to everything, which is why I'm so big on, and like almost everything starts with awareness. right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
awareness. I don't mean the BS awareness of, apologies for calling it BS, but you know, a lot of times when people are doing self-awareness projects, they're like, get a whole bunch of great 360s from the rest of your senior management team. That's super helpful, but all you're doing is getting their perceptions. So that's great, but they're still their judgments, right? They're not actually your own self-awareness.
It's somebody else's anecdotal evidence. It's not yours.
No, and you actually need to take that, consider it in the round, and understand that it probably only tells you like three things: their perceptions, what is acceptable or not within that cultural environment, and your level of influence within that cultural environment. It doesn't actually tell you a lot about you necessarily. And so almost everything does start with being able to be, you know, out of just your mind, back into your body, understanding what are the signals that it's coming, seeing your thoughts, knowing you're not your thoughts. Like, we have so much mental chatter all the time, Keith.
Yeah. Oh,
Like constant.
I woke
It
up
is
this
like-
morning. I woke up this morning with, you know, I talk about it daily. This whole show has been the greatest thing to happen to me because I feel like I can come on this platform, share what's going on in me, and then unlock what's happening with others. Like I woke up, so like next Monday, we got Dr. John Page coming on here. We're going to talk about that. This season's not always happy for everybody. This Christmas season, holiday season, not happy for everyone. And I woke up this morning battling a bunch of negative challenges in my brain. You can't see it. But
and do you know, but what's unbelievable is oftentimes what's amazing is that you saw it. There are a lot of times people don't see it and they don't know then why it is that everything else that day becomes really negative. So you really do have to actually just start by seeing, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? What is my body telling me?
Yeah. Alana, when people come to you for coaching and for the services that you provide, is there one consistent theme that somebody's over and over knocking on your door about?
So you had my profile up earlier and you had a word there I would say I don't coach on, and that's okay. Just so we're aware, it is, I'm not a burnout coach. I believe that actually that belongs more often when you get real burnout in the mental health realm. That's a different point. And that people often, when they're in that place, are not in the space they need to be in for coaching. So I'll just put that out there that it's not, that's one thing that's not. So I tend to work with people who are really high growth oriented, interested more in what I might call conscious leadership. And they might come to me either because they've stumbled, something's happened that shaped them. Maybe they have a really toxic work environment suddenly, or, you know, they even could be going through divorce if you want to put it on a personal side, or something they've had an opportunity and they really, really want to go for it. And that actually can be anything in your workplace. But I often look at myself and say, you know, what really brought me on this journey? It was having kids. I mean, because I care so deeply about them. I know I have to be my best for them to be able to be their best.
Yeah.
So I would say I tend to work with people who are on the brink of or are already growth junkies.
Interesting. Growth junkies. So they're waking up wanting to grow, but find themselves in their journey stuck and then looking around going, who can help me get to the next level?
That's right. Let's keep going to that next level. And I know that I have a client who's at a great place. It doesn't mean they have to stop with me, but I feel very proud of the job I've done when they start saying to me things like, I know that whatever happens, I'm going to be able to handle it.
Ah, so then are you, when somebody says it to you next, here's a secret. Do you hang up the call going, oh shit, I gotta go find another client because this one's going to be done in a few weeks?
I love it when my clients take off. You know, I often I love that. When I have a client that's lighting themselves on fire, like there is nothing more amazing. So yeah, I mean, I'm delighted when my clients no longer need coaching services for that, whatever it is that they're at in their life. I'm someone who I'm such a growth junkie. Like I always have a coach, but I'm not saying that everyone needs to do that. There's so many ways that you can keep on your own development.
I love the energy you bring, Alana. I love the energy you bring to the conversation. When you look for a coach, you said you like to have coaches in your world. What do you look for in a coach that helps Alana Tart move to the next level? What are you looking for in somebody?
So it depends on where I'm at in my journey.
Ah.
So yeah, so what is the thing that I want to work on? So right now, for example, well, I'll say this and see if it adds next to the next question. Right now, I'm working with someone who actually is very good at trauma and intergenerational trauma. I'm also highly trauma qualified. I tend to use that for blind spot and repeated pattern work than I do for actual trauma work. But I really wanted to work through some, we carry weight inside ourselves that we don't even know.
Yes.
And that's really like intergenerational. And so I wanted to work on that. I wanted to have more of a self-discovery journey in terms of what is the weight that I'm not yet aware of. And he has been amazing. Amazing.
There's a reason that you had this awareness where you woke up one day going, intergenerationally, either you have lost somebody within your time or you're anticipating something happening or there's some trauma happening intergenerationally. But Alana, what caused your own awareness to say, there's a gap, there's a blind spot over here for me as Alana Tart. I need to go work on this.
So I have decent what's called ACE scores.
Okay.
Which are about complex or developmental trauma.
Okay.
And I worked through quite a lot of those, but just knew that there was still some heaviness there. So I wanted to start off working at that in terms of, okay, what has been the impact on me? Like, I don't see it, but I know it's there and I don't want to pass it on to my kids. Like, that's the big one. Like I said, my motivation really is very much around my kids. So if I'm going to be a chain breaker, because these things, they do pass. If I'm going to be a chain breaker, I have to be able to see it. So that's why I went to it, because I knew that I'd already done a lot of work already, but there was still something there that I could sense I don't quite have the whole picture yet. Do you want me to give you like a really easy concrete example?
I do. Yes.
So, and I posted about this on LinkedIn the other day. This was not this coach, a previous coach who isn't so good in this area, but this really was like the light bulb of, okay, I need to see more of this. So, in my last company, when I was still in corporate and doing pretty much only lawyering, because I'm still a general counsel, I was passed up for a promotion and was given the feedback that one of the main reasons, in fact, not the predominant reason, was because I'm a female. And
really,
that's the first reaction, except for that didn't bother me. When I went back to my coach to try and figure out like why I was crying, and I knew I wasn't disappointed and I wasn't angry. I had full acceptance that in that cultural environment, whether we think it's right or wrong, is a totally different point. I just accepted in that cultural environment, this was someone trying to do me a favor by telling me that here, females have a small box of behavior, which sucks because it's smaller than what the men can do. And, if you want to succeed here, you have to fit in that box. And when I went through my coaching session on this, my coach kept picking up a word that I didn't even know I was saying, which was sacrifice. And when this was pointed out to me, it suddenly was like, oh my gosh. Now, Keith, I'm 5th generation professional female. I am related to the first woman licensed to practice medicine in Canada. And every generation after that, my mom's a specialist physician, her mother's a surgeon, we go on, right?
Yeah.
I'm from a professional female line. And they wholeheartedly had bought the idea that the epitome of womanhood is sacrifice and selflessness. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting here crying for all of them. I'm not crying about this feedback I've been given on a job I don't really care a lot about.
That must have been a aha moment for you.
That was huge. And I looked at my kids and I'm like, what do they need? And I thought, they don't need me to continue this idea of being a martyr. They need a role model.
Oof. Boys or girls for children?
I have both.
I ask because you strike me as a very emotionally intelligent human being,
Thank you.
which in my experience, people still struggle with today, especially of my demographic. You know, I'm 52. You're probably about 20 years younger than I am. So I'm thinking that people within, you know, our gap here of 32 to 52 still struggle with some of that emotional IQ.
Yeah, they do.
Talk about that.
Well, we live and we pride.
It takes courage, doesn't it, to have emotional intelligence, doesn't it?
It's hardest work. Oh my gosh, it's the hardest work. And that's where you move from the reactivity to responsiveness, really, that. So many of us are actually quite disembodied. We're living very much inside our heads, particularly in my client group, which is, you know, the more professional realm.
Yes.
Lawyers are very analytical. Hey, we're great at our critical thinking.
Yes.
But, you know, like that is just so disembodying. And so as a result of being so disconnected, we are reacting. It goes to what I was saying before. You know, we're allowing our emotions to use us. We're not using them. And so until we get back in touch with that and really understand what we're feeling and how we can be agile, not control. I get really irked by when people talk about controlling their emotions because number one, that's impossible. But number two, no, because you can't. And you can't use them then. You've got to be agile with them. You have to be able to like it just starts with the labeling, but beyond that, you have to be able to stop suppressing them, stop intellectualizing them, actually move into feeling them, which is scary for people. I mean, Keith, so many of the things that people are refusing to do, if it gets right down to it, it's because they are afraid that how they're going to feel is going to destroy them.
I have a friend right now who's going through potentially a divorce. And was listening to this man over the last couple of weeks talk with me. And it's just this, I really want to choose my words and be tactful, Alana. It's just this constant veneer of, oh, everything's great. It's all good. Oh, yeah. Good. Yeah. Going up the mountain. I've overcome everything in my life. I'm going to do it again. You know what I said to him? I said, fuck, man, you got to start feeling.
That's it.
You're not feeling. Because I was in his shoes. I've been through divorce. I've been that 20-year marriage and having to figure out, okay, all the feelings going through. Like, but you got to go look in the mirror and feel yourself first. So before you can go feel for your children, because I got kids too. So this fellow, I'm like, dude, you got to go find a way to feel. So I text him, would you feel today? He's like, what do you mean? Because you know why, Alana? Most of us are scared to feel.
That's right.
It took me going through divorce to figure out what empathy was. It took me going through divorce to establish a level of emotional intelligence that I'm very proud of today that I have. Right. And when I come across people that struggle with that, I'm like, oh man, I want to teach you how to have that emotion. Because once you can develop emotional intelligence, I think it's a superpower. It's like empathy. And I teach my children. I love just sitting down and talking about this emotional intelligence that I wasn't raised or taught how to have. You got to learn how to have it.
Yeah. And that's when you can get to, I can handle anything that comes my way.
Yes. I love, so you know what I love? Oh man, I got goosebumps. Because I try to take something from everybody that I meet with. Everything. I just try to hang on something. Thank you for agile. Because when I create awareness, you give me permission to be agile with my emotions instead of controlling of them.
Yeah.
Because we're so quick to say, yeah, but I can only control the situation right now. Well, hold on a second. No, let's maybe be agile with it, because when you have agility, you can pull levers.
That's right. Like I say, use them, not let them use you.
Yeah. Dude, this is awesome, man. This is awesome. So listen, I want to be respectful of your time here. And I know we have somebody walking up the old Mornings in a Lab mountain that I'd like to shine a light on for the Creator Spotlight. And I know that we said to you last week, said, Alana, there's somebody that I know that you want to shine a light on here. I don't know what happened here, boy. There we go. I know you gave us somebody who we're going to shine a light on here this morning for the Creator Spotlight. And it's a segment on our show, which has taken a life of its own on, where we create this segment and we shine a light on somebody, celebrate them. Often we surprise them. Like, oh my God, I got celebrated. It's turned into a really fun, rewarding experience. So I'm really pleased that you're along for the ride this morning to celebrate somebody that we're going to shine a light on here today. So here's how it's going to work. We're going to tease it. And then, Actually, Walter, this is funny, Alana. So this is kind of new to us because we're trying some new things here as we build the airplane as we fly. So here's what we're going to do, Walter. I'm going to tease it with Alana, and then we're going to reveal the gamma with Alana so we can surprise the participants. So hang tight while I set this up with our creator spotlight here today. So Walter, do not pull anything up yet until I give you the cue here, because I want to have some fun because this person has no idea that we're going to do this here today on the show here live on Mornings in the Lab. So
I didn't tell her either.
Oh, good. Oh, good. So today we're going to celebrate someone who I've gotten to know a little bit myself, Alana Tart. And I know she's a coach. And I think she's a pretty damn good coach too, actually. And what's that?
She is good.
Yeah, yeah. And I know she's about mindset and performance coaching for remote leaders and entrepreneurs. She's got over 17 plus years coaching and leading in business and sport. Alana, she's supported over 3,720 plus clients. And she's also a fellow Canadian out of Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. She's all about leading yourself first. I love that. And then influencing others. I also know that from time to time, she's been doing the story time stuff. I've really enjoyed the story times with. And she's also the founder of something, we'll say it. She's also the founder of Playdates for Professionals. Yeah, I said Playdates for Professionals, Alana Tart. So this morning, we are going to take a moment to celebrate. Walter, you ready for this one, Walter? Today, we are ready to celebrate Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends and Alana Tart, Margaret Jennings. Haha, Margaret, surprise, surprise. I know we've had you here in the lab on some of the early days. We talked to you in the past when we knocked on Alana's door. She's like, we got somebody for you. So Margaret Jennings is about empowering growth through connection, the power of tribe in personal growth. Alana Tart, why did you say, Keith, we got to celebrate Margaret Jennings today? Walter, as Alana's delivering her reason why, let's keep the presentation going. Alana, why are we celebrating Margaret Jennings today?
So MJ and I actually are very, very similar in our beliefs, foundation, and what we give people, but we do it in very different ways.
Okay.
And I love that. I love highlighting that there are more options than me, because everybody needs to, the best thing you can have in a coach is someone who is the right fit and really clicks with you. I am someone who, if you want to go deep, I am your deep person. Like we go there together. MJ, Playdates for Professionals, she brings levity. She makes it so that personal growth and development just doesn't have to be so hard.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love what she's able to do. And she is just one of the most creative people. I mean, this is someone you want to create your life. This is your partner to help you do that.
Awesome. And you know what strikes me about Margaret Jennings in my interaction with her as well, Alana, is because I love this word. This is a word that holds a lot of value for me. Margaret strikes me as somebody who's incredibly kind.
She's phenomenally kind.
And that to me is like one of the most important attributes. So as I've gotten to know Margaret a little bit over the feed, over the platform, and in the community we were in earlier, her kindness really is shown through for me. Like, oh, she is so kind.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am very grateful to have her as a friend.
Margaret Jennings, we are celebrating you here today, Mornings in Live with Keith and Friends in the Creator Spotlight. So you know how it works, Margaret. We want to have you on the show so you can celebrate somebody in your orbit, which we can put on stage to keep paying things forward and keep celebrating great humans on the platform. And Alana, you know what I love what you did too, is you celebrated somebody who in many ways you compete with. Yep. But you don't compete with because you're like, no, the world's big enough for all of us. And if I'm not the right fit for you, Keith Billis, I know somebody who's the right fit for you, who's Margaret Jennings. That is what good collaboration is all about.
We all just want people to live their best lives.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed having you. And I'll tell you right now, we've done this for 27, almost 30 minutes. I know we could have kept going for another 30 or 45. Will you come back and keep digging into some of this chat with me in the future?
I would love to come back. This has been so much fun.
Awesome. What time is it over there? Is it I think it's about 3 o'clock, right? Oh, 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. Okay. So Afternoons in the Lab in Switzerland with Alana Tart joining Keith Billis on Mornings in the Lab here in North America. Alana, you have yourself an awesome day, and we'll see you in the feeds. Okay, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to cut some of this content up for you. I'm going to plop it on over to you so you can share some of your great wisdom out there, and then we're going to bring Margaret Jennings on for a future creative spotlight. Okay.
It's been such fun and such a pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. And Alana, I'm not a douchebag.
I know you're not. I told you that.
Alana Tart, I appreciate you. You have yourself an awesome day, and I'll see you in the feeds, okay?
Bye-bye.
Take care, Alana. All right, guys, Alana's out of here. You got me just hanging out here, finishing up the show here. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. We're going to wrap it up. Yep, top of the hour here. It's time to get out of here. We're back tomorrow. Adam House is joining us here tomorrow. Let me see here who's on the agenda for tomorrow's show. And I'm going to go to Adam House, and we're going to continue the chat on what I learned over the last 200 days. Oh, we got R. Scott Edwards joining us here today as well. We got the comedian. I didn't say R, I said R. Scott Edwards. Joining us tomorrow morning, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. I invite you to join us. All right. Walter, good job on the gamma, brother. Alana, appreciate you. On behalf of Johnny, Marty, so I look down because I'm thinking. Yeah, brain's thinking right now. There's no notes here, no, just thinking. On behalf of Johnny, Marty, good time. John Dugan, Jimmy, everybody on the show today. Jason Shen, the Outlier. Joe Fontana joining me with some answers. Carmi Sierra, thank you as well. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. We are going to get out of here, get to work, get on with the day, make content, and we're going to get back to get you guys to get your ass out of bed tomorrow morning. See you guys tomorrow. Let's get out of here, Jimmy. Let's get out of here, Walter.